next to the microphone? XPJ in the house. Show him some love. I got his brother on Thursday, Llewellyn. So, blessed and opened it. It's beautiful. Welcome, welcome.
Bless.
Thank you.
How you doing? You alright?
Yep. Alright.
I got this poem I've been working on. I might stumble a little bit, but I'm trying to get through it. That's alright?
Peace.
Yeah. Alright, this is called Cheaper Than Chimpanzees. Y'all hear me alright?
Alright.
Yep.
James Marlin Sims, regarded by many to be America's most beneficent medical benefactor, but he tended to crack the skulls of black babies, and it's crazy how people tend to defend this bastard. Bring up the topic and minutes after. Feel the uneasiness beneath the grins and laughter. Then they ask you, do you understand the concept of the ends justify the means? Or they say it should be understood what Sims did, he did for the common good. No, what he did was split the wigs of young black kids like a lump of wood, and if something good come from it, that don't mean he's a good person now, does it? Sims was also thought to be the father of gynecology, and that too bothers me, because obviously a lot of the knowledge he gained came from vaginal surgeries and procedures performed without anesthesias on black women who he treated horribly. And arguably the clinical model he used lit the fuse and was the start of the whole pathetic medical mockery, where the bodies of black and brown minorities were promoted to commodities. Listen, in certain prisons, physicians unloaded in the arteries of selected black inmates radioactive isotopes. Because to them, then and now, black life's a joke. And yes, the 15th Amendment did give you the right to vote and establish your rights as a person. I mean, that's what you like to hope. But trust, there's still some scientist/physician that's itching to slice your throat. So I, just like the folks on the black Indian side of the family, know better than to trust the medicine of the white man and understand the hype and the hopes. Now listen, as I recite a quote from American Science recorded in 1964 British Medical Journal. Criminals in our penitentiaries are fine experiment materials, and they're much cheaper than chimpanzees.
Okay.
And I'm like, man, please. They actually got the gall to say this animal that crawls on his hands and knees and stands in trees is worth more or equal to people in prison that they brand as thieves and criminals. Can you see the subliminal message being suggested is that we are identical to the criminals? And the fact that we're black, they say criminology runs in our genitals. And some of their seminal scientists have stood behind us, like Cesare Lombroso, famous Italian philosopher, who would define us as born savage criminals, who should be deleted completely by death if need be. And believe me, really, this is why Margaret Singer founded PP, Planned Parenthood. But I'm going to get to that in a sec, but first let me interject some more on Lombroso. This dude actually had the nerve to study and observe the Dinkas of the Upper Nile. And like any other brother stuck on trial, they got judged unfair. Lombroso would swear that the Dinkas' dark skin and the inability to blush proved that they were corrupt and foul in such a childlike generalization you expect to hear maybe when you enter the station of a shock jock like Howard Stern. And our concern with the medical administration is not just experiments in the so-called innovations, but it's the behavior that's manifested when the patient's skin and face is black, then they tend to place him in the stack of abnormal, innately inferior, i.e. excellent experiment material, and much cheaper than chimpanzees, bamboos, any other primate. So on us, they conduct experiments like we was mindless apes. And after they stump on the soul like they're trying to get wine from grapes, and our spirit is brunt and our mind is raped, brothers forget trying to escape the maze of medical madness that has us behind the 8 ball, the great wall of the confusion. It's all an illusion, but y'all been choosing the blue pill, and this thing is too real. But when you run from the truth, I'm thinking lately, maybe we need a shoe deal. Forget in the body, I'm gonna forget that blue shield, because shots from the doc, it's like shots from the cop, and best believe they do kill softly. And I thank God Mom didn't used to peel the off me, but stayed filled with coffee so she didn't sleep and compete the game. She understood that they seized your brain, they didn't have to have your hands in your feet and chain. And I'm gonna stop right there.
All right.
The people, I mean, that's a very heavy piece you just shared right there. And I think that could be a discussion all its own. In the spirit of that, I want to share something with you about an important event happening this summer in Ghana with Mama Kali Ando and her husband, Dr. Kweku Ando, who's a world-renowned ethnobotanist. Now, the connection here, obviously, is the plants, which is what all the pharmaceuticals base their medicines on, are the plants, right?
Right.
But it's like hyper plants. So pharmaceutical drugs are like basically the plants and their abilities as healing vehicles, like synthesized. Okay? So in other words, like, you're not actually getting plant medicine, even though what they're doing is based on plant medicine. There are pharmaceutical companies right now that have suits against villages in Africa, lawsuits, claiming that they have the patent on the plants that are traditional to the people. But I'm serious, they have like the people in the villages like in court over being able to actually administer healing from the plant and natural medicines to the people of the village, as they've been doing forever. You know what I mean? But there's some real trippy stuff happening, and that's a very important issue. In July, there'll be a gathering called Grandmothers in Ghana. Mama Kali came here and spoke about this on one of our first events here. I just want to read this briefly. The purpose of this, something to pay attention to. A think tank for women of African descent to meet together to plan an alternative future for our children and grandchildren. That opens up a wider discussion. Let me see here. Presently, only the military industry or the prison industry are available as the future destination or career choice for African children in America, especially for the boys. Mama Kali actually explained to me that she was inspired by some of her friends, her peers who have grandchildren who are now, and young boys specifically, who are now in prison or have been like caught up in that system or in some way engaged with the penal system here. And that they recognize they have a responsibility to co-create some solutions for how we can really meet this as an issue for the community. You know what I'm saying? Something to think about. How many parents in the house?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so in light of the fact that you're a parent, you have children to think of. Even if you don't have children, we have children to think of. You know what I mean? In terms of steps ahead.
Real talk.
It's real. And so, I don't want to put anybody on the spot. My man Malachi was here a couple of weeks ago. Good to see you, bro. And he offered also something real important, is the presence of the black men. Like, it's not just enough that the grandmothers are having to come together. It's really a matter of the men having to be really included in these sorts of discussions, understanding the reason for men to have men's circles and women to have women's circles. That's a part of our tradition. So then there has to be a coming together of them both. So it's really, right now what I'm seeing Mama Kali initiating is the women coming together in a women's circle. So therefore, naturally, the call has to go out to the men to come together as men. You know, which I really take that as what that was a couple of weeks ago, and like to really represent that. And brothers stepping into it, you know what I'm saying, and really organizing some sustainable plans and things for the community and for family in mind, right? Can I get an ashe on it?
Ashe.
Ashe on. That's what time it is. So we want to keep our eyes, our sights on grandmothers in Ghana and what this really means. You know, again, Dr. Ando and his wife have been very, very active, particularly as it relates to botany and plant medicine. Is anybody familiar with Dr. Ando, first of all?
Oh yeah.
In the crowd? Okay.
Oh yeah.
And then his service in terms of plant medicine and the nether dye specifically, and then other plants that he's introduced to people for, you know, holding solutions, you know what I'm saying? So much more than healing. They're really living as whole beings, you know? So with that being said, I invite you to pick up a yellow flyer on the back table, please.